going to follow Jake's lead. He's had that opportune bite. I'm going to leave that area out there that I've baited free, but I've got a beautiful margin down to my left-hand side. I've sprinkled a little bit of bait there. I've had one exploratory cast with a little lead, as you can see there. It's a tiny little thing. So I've felt the bottom, no marker floats, nothing like that. I'm just using the rod, the line and the lead to tell me exactly what I'm fishing over. There's a lot of weed and silkweed here, but there will be little clearings and sort of shallower areas of weed that you can drop the lead into. So ideal fishing situation. I love it when it's like this. Really right up my street this lake is. So here we go. Nice gentle cast. Little lead, it's going to make hardly any noise. So I'm just looking for a slightly firmer drop. That was beautiful. It's landing on a lovely spot there. That'll do. I'm just going to lay this line down. And even though I've sprinkled a couple of baits down there at the moment, I've got a few in my pocket there again. Catapult round my neck. No need to sort of move away. All I'm going to do, I'm literally just going to half these baits like that, just into little chops. One's fallen out there. That's all I need to do. They're going to land, they're going to sort of flutter to the bottom. When you halve your baits, they sink much, much slower, almost like a butterfly to the bottom. So really easy to do. That's all it needs, just a few chops. They make hardly any noise on the surface. Just a beautiful way of fishing. And hopefully it might produce a bite. So this is it, one catapult. Let's hope it lands on the money. That's beautiful. Over the rig, just past it. Anything around in that bay will hopefully comb in on that spot. Got one rod down there, so fingers crossed, see if we get a bite.
On these busy day ticket waters, it's absolutely vital that you get your rod straight back out there after having a fish. But firstly, I tied up a fresh rig, which I do all the time. Just a simple chod rig. We'll run through that in more detail later on. Just get it back out there.
Right then, Jake, you've got a snarl one really quickly on a chod setup. What made you choose that over a standard sort of bottom bait or a standard pop-up rig?
Right, well, basically I've never fished the lake before, so when I was walking around, you can see all the bottom, there's all different types of weed, and when I stood in the swim, a couple of fish just boshed out, so with that rig, you know that if you feel it down and you can feel the bottom, and it's basically fishes effectively over any bottom.
Yeah, exactly. So with that lead charging in, if I get you to hold that line up there, lead charges in, and that pop-up will nestle on top of anything. I presume you've got that slow sinking? Slow
sinking, yeah, and then obviously, depending on how deep the weed you think it is how high you have the bead, so obviously when it slides
up. It can slide up. So in real deep weed, it can go almost even up to 6 foot up the main line. And that will always, you know, it'll always be tangle-free, and it'll always sit pretty. So would you describe it as sort of the most 100% tangle-proof?
Yeah, it's just, you can chuck it anywhere almost, and just, you know, you're fishing effectively and quietly.
Talk me through exactly how you set it up then. Let's go from the first part that you'd start with.
Basically, with the mouth trap, when you pull it off, it coils up. So you can use that to your advantage. So
it's like a stiff, high memory filament, that is,
that's
isn't
right,
it?
Yeah.
So it keeps its shape that it's got on the spool. That's why you get these lovely curves in it. Okay. If it was a normal soft mono, you can never get it to sort of go curved and stay like that. That's why you can almost shape it like a claw.
That's right. Yeah.
So you've taken it off the spool. What's the next thing you do?
Trim it down, and then with the choddy hooks, you thread it up through the eye, and then leave enough gap to be able, because what you want the hair to come back through on itself to create that D.
So literally, you've tied a knotless knot.
That's right, yeah.
Okay, and then you've left a decent tag end that you can run back through. I presume before you run it back through, you add the ring.
Little micro rig ring, that's right.
Okay, little micro rig ring, back through the front, and then I can notice you've got like a little blob there.
Yeah, just to secure it, just dab it down, obviously making sure
How do you make the blob, Jake?
You just covering everything, obviously, so you don't catch it, and then just with a lighter.
What sort of knot do you use to attach the hook link to the swivel?
I just do a 2-turn blood knot.
Okay.
And then slowly, like, wet it, and then just slowly tease
it down so you don't kink it or scrape it or anything like that. That's right,
yeah, because they are very temperamental. All you have to do, if you're really sharp, aggressive with it, it will kink it, and then it's really hard to get it out.
Because of the high memory in the filament?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've done that. I presume you blob it again at the end with a tag end.
Same again as the other one.
That's just an insurance. But with these stiff filaments, you can get away with like a little 2-turn blood. once you've slowed it down, if you just give it a quick shake once it's bedded in, it's perfect. So let's move on to the actual, the main line and how you actually attach it, because I can see up here you've got a 4mm bead and a sinker.
That's right, yeah.
What do you do first?
I'll put the bead on first.
Okay.
And then I'll put the 2 sinkers on together, because when you put one on, it the sinkers seal up.
Yeah.
So you're like fiddling, so you may as well get 2 on at the same time.
Okay.
And
thread the bead over the top.
Yeah, and then, so you push one of the sinkers up, depending on how high you want your chod, and then slowly put the bead over the top of it.
That's a 4mm tapered bead, so the inside of the bore goes out that way. So you want the widest bit facing up your line. So in the event of a crack off, if a fish gets snarled up on that, it can sort of pull the bead off like that, and that's free running, all right? So that's what makes the rig safe, you know. Well, there you go, a nice little master class in chod setups. It's catching fish from the off. Make sure you get on them very soon. Well, I followed Jake's lead. I plopped that rod down that left-hand margin, and within the hour, it's ripped off. So just showing that by tricking a little bit of bait in here and there, I've managed to sneak one out the margins. Jake's already had that bite, so it's a great start to the session. Got a little bit of weed around the line, so no need to worry. Just going to ease it back. I've already had a little sighting of it on the surface. Wonderful lake, this place. Really, really exciting fishing. All close stuff. Beautiful carp. Gin clear water, weedy. Just what I like. So we're getting close now. As you can see, a lot of weed is picked up on the line, like washing line there. Jake, if you want to come in, mate. Now, Jake's using the chod rig. I've actually gone for my favoured rig that I use everywhere where there's a bit of detritus on the bottom. It's my own little pop-up rig, and we'll definitely be having a look at that later on. It's a clever little setup, and slightly different to the in vogue choddy that a lot of people are using. Basically, the reason I'm using it, because no one else is. Just a one rod plopped out. Just shows you don't need to have 2 or 3 rods out there. You can just do it nice and quietly, you know. We haven't come in like a herd of rhinos stampeding into the swim making loads of noise. Just to sort of softly approach, putting that bait out there, letting them get used to it. And it's all about not hassling them on these small lakes. Let them feed with confidence, you know. If you let them do that, then they're quite easy to catch. If you hassle them, if you scare them, they just switch straight off. This was taken on one of my little homemade pop-ups. Take great care in doing my own hook baits. Little corkball one, slow sinking, just to nestle on top of that weed. Yeah. Here we go, it's getting close now. Lovely one, it's got a little single scale on the side. Beautiful fish. It's in the net, awesome, what a start. Well, there we go, a lovely sprightly mirror taken off that left-hand margin. What a beautiful carp, and hopefully there's plenty more to come. Well, I found one of my rods in the bait I was fishing down to the left-hand side. I've put the one out over the baited area now, but I've crept down into this bay to my left. It's literally just 10 yards down the bank, and I've just thrown a few baits in over this little clear spot that I could see, just a few chop boilies, handful of pellets, hardly anything. And I've come back 5 minutes later, and I've seen a really big fish coming over the spot, circled, moved away. I've gone and told the guys, I've come back again, and it's cleared all the bait out, and it's completely clouded over. So this is what I mean, when you're at these day ticket lakes, try to grab every opportunity as it presents itself. And that's exactly what I'm doing. You know, I'm not doing it as a last resort when I'm blanking. I'm doing it because I want to catch as much as possible. So I'm going to creep down here. Now the rig, again, is that pop-up rig that I'm using, but ideally, you know, I might have got away with using a bottom bait, but I'm going to wait to see what happens with the pop-up first. So let's just get down here, and then I'm just going to lower the rig in, and I'm going to put maybe a few baits, just a few chop boilies over the top, a few pellets, keep it nice and simple. It's got to be quiet. All of you at home, be quiet. can literally lower it in with a rod. So we're just going to creep in. The spot's just to my right. Make sure it's clear, make sure there's no fish there. It's completely clouded over. I can't even see the clear spot anymore. There's one there, there's a fish there. There's a fish with its tail on the spot feeding. Too risky to put a rig in at the moment. Unbelievable stuff, so exciting. Rig's in. Oh, we're away. That is the quickest bite in the history of the world. Whoa. How quick was that? I've never seen anything like it. Well, you couldn't have planned that. You've just watched me lower it in and it's taken it within seconds. That is unbelievable. I still had the bail arm open. I've never seen anything like it. I've never had one that quick. That is crazy. It's just in a bit of weed there. Oh. Fish is off. Oh, what a gutter. Oh, I cannot believe that. A bite within seconds, literally seconds. Ah, devastated.